This Short Code podcast is a proud member of the MedEd Media Network. Inspiration, information, and guidance on your journey to medical school and beyond at mededmedia.com.
Meandering in the margins of medicine, it's the Short Code podcast.
Weird news,
fresh views,
helpful clues, and interviews.
By students, for students.
Subscribe to our weekly show at theshortcode.com.
Welcome back to the Short Code Podcast, a production of the University of Iowa Carver College of Medicine. I'm Dave Etler. On today's show, admissions etiquette, the joy of orientation week, and some observations from the TSA checkpoint line, and whatever else we come up with to discuss. Here in the studio with me today and live streaming on our Facebook group, the Short Code Student Lounge, it's M2 Nicole Hines.
What's up, nerds?
MD PhD student Miranda Skeen has paused her experiments for us.
Hey, boys.
Maybe we're a part of the experiment.
I can't tell you that. It's double blinded.
Yeah.
That's not what blinding is.
We've got M2 and Bean Learning Community Mayor Rick Gardner.
Sup, home skillets?
Here with us. And joining us from the internet, it's M4 Emma Barr.
Hello. I don't have anything fancy to say.
That's okay, because mine was a complete failure.
This is my least favorite part of the podcast.
Excellent. Our sponsor this week is Enso Rings. We'll talk more about them later in the show. But I did want to start off by saying one of your curriculum coordinators observed the almost giddy joy that is Nicole and Rick seemed to evince as you helped us welcome a new class to the Carver College of Medicine. I wasn't in the office. I was traveling, but Billy Rudin was joking that you guys were so excited to give them the orientation that you didn't get because of the pandemic. She just observed it.
Yeah.
Ultra excited.
I think I actually heard something similar from one of the other like Flux community people where they were like, you know, normally we have maybe like 20 volunteers for orientation coordinators, and this year we had like 50 because they all wanted to help.
Yeah, I just remember sitting in Bean and I had to like give the intro speech to all of our new beanies, and just like 70 people being in one space, and it was like, I just want to let you know that most of the people that are here are trying to live vicariously through you. You are getting to experience something that I've never gotten, and I am quite frankly a little jealous.
Is it like, how much is it that and wanting to help the M1s compared to the promise of free food?
That is
sweet.
That is also something that you did not get to experience in all of your M1 year.
Yeah.
And a vital and important part of medical education experience is
lying to people about your interest for free food.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. Like, I'm absolutely interested in OB-GYN. Also, you have Thai flavors today.
Oh, man.
Sounds amazing.
Why did you do that to me? I want curry now.
Sorry.
Oh.
I was going to say, because I saw an email from AMWA that's like, oh, we're probably going to have lunch at our opening meeting. And I'm like, suddenly.
Say less, king. Or queen. Or whoever you identify as.
Noble being.
Noble being.
Mythical beast.
It was awfully difficult to, I don't know, what's the word? To sort of wrap our own heads as people in student affairs around not providing food. I'm looking forward to the revival of the Facebook group Free Food and Murph.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a thing?
It was a thing. I hope it didn't get lost.
That completely passed me by. I just sort of like kept track of my emails.
I think it was a Facebook group or something along those lines.
I think there's a group me too, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
You guys are all into group me now. Am I gonna have to transition to group me for the pod?
Resist.
It's not that great.
It's not good, but it was good for a while because sometimes iPhone can be quite hostile to non-iPhone users in group texts. So it was useful for me, especially when in the early days when I didn't have an iPhone, when people were like, let's get in the like group hangout or whatever the hell Apple has. And then I was like, I can't. I'm an Android.
Oh, sorry.
It's still hostile to me. Every time I send a fire message that somebody wants to love, I get a text that says so-and-so loved. And then
like your
quotes
message.
the text.
It's really annoying. Yeah, I get those. I finally figured out the group text thing, so we don't have to do that anymore. But yeah, I get those same messages. It's like, please stop liking my messages.
Or you could just switch to the superior phone like brand.
No, thank you. I want to
Heathens.
I didn't know we were gonna.
Listen, if you want to be a sheeple, you go for it. But some of us are independent thinkers. So
bring up group messaging in med school, and opinions exist.
Go figure. The people with the strongest drives and the most determination have the hottest of takes.
This is going well.
So what did you have planned for today, Mr. Dave?
I don't know. I've forgotten.
We're talking about the TSA.
I did want to. I did want to.
Yeah, I'm very curious about this. I know you were saving this.
Just chill.
Don't do that thing where you save the juicy stuff for the end of the podcast just to make people listen longer.
Juicy? Okay. We'll see. I also heard that Rick was aggressively recruiting for the podcast, which must not have scared off too many people.
Passionately.
Okay.
With some other adjective that would describe me and my interest and the things I do for the show well.
All right.
Wait.
I don't know what would that adjective be?
I don't know. I forgot it. I was going to say provocative or pivotal, but those don't work well.
Provocative.
Provocative. Oh my gosh. Promiscuous? No.
Oh God.
I'm imagining you throwing out like provocative episode ideas, and M1s are like, whoa, I'm really offended by this. I need to now come and be on this episode and be like, this is not okay.
Yeah, so I can put him in his place, essentially.
We need a little controversy on the show, I guess. So if you want to be provocative, Rick.
Dad shoes, go.
Dude, oh my, don't even start with me.
Wait,
Okay,
what?
we won't.
Wait, no, what are dad shoes? What is this?
Go back to episode XXX.
Air Monarchs.
Oh, okay.
Rick has obsessions.
Marissa Evers, I will fight you. Don't come at me with these Skechers or New Balance ass BS.
Shit. Oh, sorry, cursing. I forgot.
What do you mean?
All these shows have explicit tags. We're fine.
I know.
We've got a listener question from somebody who didn't leave their name when she left us a message at 347-SHORT-CT. So I will call her Kraz and Waz. Let's hear from Emma.
Hi. I really love the Short Code podcast.
Oh.
So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Keep it up. I love listening to it every week. But I had a question. So I am currently applying this application cycle to medical school, and one kind of question that I've had come up is some schools will say in their emails, they'll be like, oh, feel free to send us updates or shadowing experiences you had or papers you published or anything like that. And I was wondering if there's etiquette surrounding that. Are they saying that, but they only expect you to send it after a certain time has passed or after your interview? Or would it seem kind of too much if applicants send it, near the start of the cycle, in August or September? Yeah, let me know. And I'm looking forward to listen to next week's episode too. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for your question, Kraz and Waz. Miranda?
I was just because, and Kraz and Waz, thank you so much for calling into the Short Coat. In my professional opinion, and people can disagree with me, and this feels a little bit like classic pre-med overthinking a little bit.
I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, it's the thing I recognize from a lot of my classmates in undergrad, and even some of the new M1s coming in where they're constantly overthinking. Everyone's thinking XYZ thing about me, and everyone's judging every little thing I do. And to me, it's the kind of thing where if you're interested in the school and you have a fun thing happen, send them that and be like, hey, a thing happened to me and I'm still interested. And I mean, don't say, yo, admissions boy, what's up? There's a certain amount of professionalism involved. But beyond that, I think this might just be a case of if you're interested and you accomplish something, go ahead and send them the thing when it happens. If you're not interested, you don't have to, kind of would be my answer.
I think this is a fair question because I don't know that I've ever heard or seen anything about how to address this issue though, so I think it's fair that we do get to talk about it.
Yeah, it's very fair.
I personally sent
Miranda's it's very fair, but I'm going to tell you.
Well, yeah,
you're overthinking.
I was going to say it's a fair question, but I think just the amount of factors she was considering might be a tad much.
Okay,
before or after the interview, or when what the protocol is. I think that in itself might be just a tad bit overthinking. The question itself is fair, but I think there's some factors that she might be considering that maybe aren't as necessary to stress over.
My gut instinct was to say, they asked you for it. Give them what they want. Give them what they asked for. And they need this stuff so they can get great applicants. So if they get in touch with us. Now, I will say that I did run this by Rachel, our admissions and enrollment coordinator. And she did say that you should definitely do that. Different schools will do different things with that information. Like our school, that once you've made your application, the admissions staff themselves cannot amend your application, but they will tell you that you have a couple of occasions where you can supplement your secondary application. Mm-hmm. So you can go in and make your changes and corrections. If you made an error, if you added something to your CV, something like that, then that's where you would go. But they would tell you that, if you email Rachel and say, hey, I did some more shadowing, just want to let you know I added to my hours. Rachel will be like, that's fantastic. Here's how you tell us that specifically. They don't expect you to remember that that's how we do it here.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is just add something when you have something to add.
Yeah.
Like, don't say something like, I went on this hiking trip. Like, that's great. And I'm sure, that might have different roles in your life depending on who you are. But, I said after I'd been able to present at a conference and I won an award and then just updated my hours because I knew that was probably the weakest part of my application.
Yeah.
And schools will view that differently. Like one school the next day rejected me. and then a month later I got an interview invite. So it's awesome.
I also want to add that I'm totally an overthinker, and whoever's listening to this and had the same question, it's okay. We don't want to shame you. Being an overthinker is also a sign of being very conscientious, and you want to be professional, and you're thinking about these things. So
that's a fantastic point.
Asking this question.
Anybody who's ever applied for a job also has been like, oh, I don't know if I don't know if they want to hear from me afterwards. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
But for me, I did send several updates, but this was after I got waitlisted at some schools, and I hadn't won any awards or done any research, gotten published. I was still working at the same job, but I found kind of a little bit, I don't know if it's creative, but different ways to send updates. So I was working at the same job, but I got formal feedback I was scribing, so I got formal feedback, surveys from the people I was working with, and kind of just gave an update of how that went and that I was still working there. And again, reiterated my interest in their program. And then what I maybe learned from the interview and everything like that.
Yeah.
And nobody was like, stop bothering us.
Yeah. I was going to say that might be one of the more valuable things when they're inviting you to send updates. They're not necessarily just inviting you to be they are obviously, contact us if you have an update for your hours or anything like that, because it's a long process, but it's also an open door for you to continue to express interest in the school. It may not necessarily change where you're ranking, but it might, make a difference where if they know that if they extend you an offer that you're likely to accept it, they might view that very favorably. So it's a way for you to just say, hey, I'm still interested. I still like your program, all that good stuff. And just as a human being, it's always nice to do that, because I know that period where they send out acceptances and then they wait for interminably for you to decide yes or no, I will go to Iowa, is a pins and needles period for admission. So don't. Oh yeah. So don't think that you're the only one feeling anxiety. Yeah, I can actually speak on this because for interviews this year, we did virtual hosting. So I was virtual host to a couple of people, and it just involves you check in with them, you ask if they have questions, you kind of debrief with them after their interview day. And during that little phase after the acceptances had been sent out and we were waiting for responses, I was getting emails every other week from our administrators being like, hey, so I was just wondering if your hostee had reached out to you, or if she's still interested in Iowa, because it's we're just curious.
It's
they really are very curious. It's a very stressful time for everybody. So
it is a time.
Yeah.
So go for it. Do what they've asked you to do. Mm-hmm. It'll help them out. It'll make them feel happy.
Yeah.
And don't worry about being weird.
Yeah.
That's not what it is.
Yeah. We always say this, but just be genuine.
And you could ask. You could ask your admissions office.
Actually, yes. Yeah. That's a very underrated strategy.
That's also a great thing. Every time we get a question about admissions stuff, my go-to answer is always going to be ask your admissions office what they want.
Yeah.
And if they can't or won't tell you, then you know something.
I was going to say, it does not hurt to ask if there's a protocol to submitting anything.
Yeah. How would you like that? How would you like that information?
Yeah.
What's the best way to get that to you?
It shows good initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another point that I think we talked a little bit about like this kind of like the idea of like the letter intent, like reinforcing like you really are passionate about the school, you would really like to go there. What are your thoughts, and this is open-ended, what are your thoughts on like in the area emails? Because I feel like this falls in a very similar kind of realm.
Like I'm in the area, I'd love to come and... What did you say? In the area?
They're called in the area emails. So I understood them like I'm from the Chicagoland suburbs. If I like flew out to Hawaii, say there wasn't like 2 medical schools there, I don't know how many there are. Like I don't want to have to do that flight again. So hey, I'm interviewing at this place.
Oh,
what are the odds? Like if you're gonna send me one, can you send me one or just reject me because I really don't want to have to come out here? Maybe not say reject, but
are interviews virtual this year?
I guess this would apply more to when they end up going back to in person.
I don't actually know the answer to that question. My guess has been that it will be at least a hybrid experience for a lot of schools, but we'll see. The state of everything is a mess right now. So
yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot to put on my mask.
Dave!
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
It's under your
to
chin.
Answer your question.
all right, Grandma, your reader's on top of your forehead.
Shut your head. Were you going to say something?
Oh, just about the in the area things. I don't see it couldn't hurt. Like it just shows that you're really interested, and they could say is yes or no or maybe. So why not?
That's all you can do.
I was going to say you might be surprised at how. I mean, I obviously would vary school to school, but you might be surprised at how accommodating admissions people can be. Like I had to move my interview at Iowa a month earlier because I had a conflict with another interview, and they were just like. This was about 3 weeks before the interview that I ended up going on. And she's like, oh yeah, here's your flight details in the hotel. And here's this new schedule. And I was like, okay, I genuinely was not expecting that.
Wait, you got flight details?
Yeah. Like the day after.
Hang on just a second.
You got flown out for your interview? Hold up.
MSTPs have a little bit more money. And I didn't get.
That's crazy.
I know. I didn't. For the record, I did not get my whole flight paid for. And I did not. And Iowa was the only interview that actually paid for my flight. When I interviewed at Penn, I had to book my own flight over there and pay for it. But Iowa did book my flight for me. And to that person, I am eternally grateful that they did that because it was so much less stressful.
Wow.
Yeah, but
good to know.
I guess should have been an MSTP student.
Right? It's really cool. People should be more MSTPs.
Next year, we're going to have it'll all be MSTP. There'll be 4 regular med students now.
I mean, you do have to be willing to give up a decent chunk of your salary for the rest of your life to do research and also spend 4 more years in med school getting your PhD. So,
I see it as taking a detour to grad school.
It's a detour to grad school.
Oh, yeah, because you have to go do the grad portion in the middle of med school.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So for some reason, my brain calls it a detour. I don't know why.
It definitely is. Well, no, it can feel like that because, I've been step in step with my med school colleagues right up until step 1 time. And then I was like, oh, bye. Like, it's just sort of veering off. But
yeah. Best of luck. Best of luck, Kraz and Waz, and let us know how it goes.
Hopefully that was some level of helpful.
Yeah, hopefully that.
Keep us up to date, if you like. Listeners, if you ask us a question, it means that I don't have to make something up to talk about on the show, and the show becomes what you want it to be. So send your questions to theshortcoats@gmail.com or leave a message at 347-SHORT-CT. We'll talk about it on the show. I need to talk about our sponsor.
Oh.
All right, students. Pop quiz. What is the risk of wearing a traditional metal ring?
What kind of risk?
You might get married.
But what if you're wearing one before marriage and it's to ward off any suitors?
I'm too lonely to do that.
I hadn't thought of that.
Oh, shoot. I need to do that. That's a good idea. Holy shit.
I never had that problem. I guess. I don't know. Correct. Ring avulsion.
Is that where you ring?
That episode of Scrubs.
Is that where your fingers get fat and you have to chop your ring off?
No, that's when your metal ring gets yanked off your finger by machinery or some other accident, and then you deglove your finger. And
no.
Deglove your finger?
Yeah.
Which commonly occurs secondary to a sudden pull on a ring and results in severe soft tissue injury, ranging from circumferential soft tissue laceration to degloving to complete amputation.
No.
Look up some pics and throw up your mouth a little.
I already did.
That's why I was intrigued by the Rise collection from Enso Rings. They are high quality silicone rings that are a great alternative to a hard metal ring that'll yank your finger skin off, like Jimmy Fallon's did in 2015 after he slipped on a rug. Enso Rings Rise collection is...
Can I see a case report?
He slipped on a rug. It got caught on his countertop is what I read, and it pulled his finger off.
So
Enso Rings Rise collection is...
Jimmy Fallon missing a finger?
He was wearing for many months, he was wearing a cast or whatever, some sort of dressing on his hand.
Did they sew
during
his
the
finger
show.
back on?
Yeah. They put it back on. It's actually less common that they successfully fix this problem.
So just because we're getting into the nitty gritty now, when you get your finger, like,
I love that this is supposed to be like a 15-second spot, and
Okay, in our defense,
but it's fine. This is
you
good
led
stuff.
with the ring avulsion stuff.
Yeah.
I thought this was the TSA story, but I was
no.
wrong.
Hold on, so when you get to glove, do you lose your fingernail or does that stay on?
Oh, that's a good question,
That's
actually.
an excellent question. I don't know.
What can I say? Rick Gardner, critical thinker.
Yes.
Well, someone else Google that because I don't need to see those pictures.
Yeah.
I'm imagining like a lizard that like slowly sheds its skin, and like the last little bit is stuck on its tail, and that's the nail bed is holding it on.
I hate that so
it's a bit quicker than that usually.
So like a couple other less like gruesome reasons why those rings could be better than
I just want to say to our sponsor, I just want to say to our sponsor right now, Enso Rings, you asked for this.
Oh, did they really?
So if you get a
No
larger
by bringing up ring avulsion,
no fingernail.
Shoo.
don't do that.
I've seen a variety of pictures here.
No. Oh my god.
if you get a ring with a stone on it, sometimes gloves are difficult to put on.
That is
and
true,
to
actually,
navigate
yeah.
around, or if you're using like. If you work with chemicals and you have certain types of metal, there's more upkeep. So there's a lot of benefits.
There are. Enso Rings Rise collection is perfect for the lifestyle and work style of a doctor or anyone who relies on having fingers. They combine a classic precious metal look with comfort and quality of silicone. I'm wearing one right now. It's this one. In attractive colors like obsidian, slate, pink sand, and turquoise, Enso Rings are an alternative for a traditional wedding band. You can leave your ring on no matter what you're doing, whether you're at work, home, or traveling. Even they tell me while wearing PPE gloves. Plus, Enso Rings Rise collection has silicone rings infused with SteriTouch antimicrobial technology, meaning a cleaner ring, and they're made right here in the U.S. I like these rings.
Maybe autoclaved?
Oh yeah,
That's a good question.
that's an excellent question. What I know about silicone is that it's very temperature stable.
Is it pressure stable?
I don't know about that. That's a great question.
Do you want to take?
I'm going to ask, and for next week's spot, I'll put that in.
I thought maybe we were going to do science.
No, I was going to say we have an autoclave upstairs. We got to make media.
Well, go
later.
get it.
Can we have a candle lit fire, but it will be a Bunsen burner?
This is now a 45-minute spot. So Enso Rings sent me two to look at from the Rise collection, and I can tell you that they are soft. They're very comfortable, and they look really good. I tested their anti-ring avulsion technology.
Why?
Not by pulling my skin off, but by stretching it like a rubber band until it broke. And I feel like it's durable. It definitely snapped easily enough that I have confidence that it wouldn't rip my finger off, but it still feels like a really solid product. In addition to the Rise collection, they have other cool looks I found on their website, including metallic finishes, like I mentioned, and rings with really crisp embossed designs from Star Wars and Disney. So, Shortcoats, you're going to want to check out Enso Rings today. You'll be glad you did, because right now our listeners can get 10% off your first purchase. Just go to ensorings.com today and use promo code SHORT. That's promo code SHORT at ensorings.com.
I feel so bad for these people. They're like, we're going to get such great advertising. And we have just been the hottest mess of a podcast I think I have yet to be on.
Listen, if Dave did not want this to go in the ring avulsion direct, I say that is on him.
I just thought, Enso Rings, I apologize. I thought it would be mildly educational if we talked about a ring avulsion instead Miranda made it a thing.
Make it a thing.
We bring one MSTP student on here and just everything goes to shit.
All right.
Shortcoats, if you're enjoying our conversation today, I'd be grateful if you'd let people know by posting a story on Instagram or Facebook or tweeting about us. And don't forget to tag us in your post.
Thank you.
I was traveling this past week. I went home to visit family with my family, and on the way back, I saw this guy in the TSA line in Boston. Short, white, big reddish blonde beard, blue-gray long sleeve jersey, dirty ball cap, jeans and flip-flops, bandana pulled down around his neck, no mask. As he approached the TSA agent, she asked him to put on a mask, and he said in a really loud voice, "Nope."
Was that the end of the sentence?
She explained why he should wear a mask in the TSA line. And again, he loudly says, "No, I don't care." And I was like, well, this is it. This is either a security incident about to go down, or I'm about to see some sort of flash mob performance of every reason why society is
if that isn't a description.
I hope it was the flash mob.
I was going to say a flash mob of all the reasons why society is a very good description of the past year and a half.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. It was just such a weird thing to, like, this guy was clearly ready for this question, you know?
Oh, I'm sure. I think he was prepping that nope the whole way through the line.
I mean, it was so loud. I was like, nope.
Yep.
So I saw somebody compare these kind of things to people taking those like arguments you have in your head in the shower where you like finish conversations or you're like the biggest, baddest badass in the room.
Yeah.
And they're taking those into real life.
You're so right. You're so right. Because all of these anti-mask people that are like, and I'm not talking all the ones that are just like vaguely skeptical or who are concerned about their acne, like me. I wear one, but I hate it. Like the people who say it as some kind of rebellious statement, those are so the kinds of people that like rehearse that in the shower.
He was waiting for this.
Yeah, it's like they don't actually necessarily, to me at least, they don't necessarily care about the masks themselves as much as they care about feeling like a rebel.
Right. Yeah, that's excellent. The guy looked like he just stepped out of an FBI interview room after being questioned about his basement full of, explosives. I mean, that was just one feeling I got.
Well, I went dark.
The TSA agent had this weary look of a woman who hadn't quite recovered yet from her, previous cavity search or whatever. His hat, this is what interested me though about this whole thing was his hat said farm brewed beer on it. So clearly some sort of slogan, farm brewed beer.
That's where the cows make it, and they milk the cows and get the beer.
I mean, this is like I feel like this is the worst possible product.
Is that where Milk Stout comes
slogan.
No, so okay. In line with,
please educate us.
So you said that you feel like this person just stepped out of some kind of investigative interview, but if they're like openly defying the rules that the TSA has,
yeah,
their circle might appreciate moonshine because it has less governmental oversight.
Okay, but this was farm brewed beer.
Yeah, so
not moonshine.
I understand it's not moonshine, but it's that same line.
It's the same vein.
Nobody's messing with how you're making it.
I just don't like it. You
can use whatever unsafe practices you want.
If you're gonna brew me some beer, brew it in a stainless steel vat in a clean room. Not like
they do it in the hog thing where they eat all the food out of.
Not in a rusty stock tank, like surrounded by hog confinement runoff.
That's how it gets its flavor, though.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, but
tastes like America.
But look, I tried to look up this slogan. It really captured my imagination. I tried to look it up, and I couldn't really link it to a particular brand.
Can that be our next gift for you?
Farm brewed beer.
I mean, this
next show tasting.
Yeah. I feel like this is why. I do feel like this is why I will never amount to anything in business, because I can't come up with ideas that nobody should want that everybody wants. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
no.
Nobody should want.
Everybody should.
Everything nobody knew they needed.
Yes, nobody should want that people end up wanting. Because, like every time I've come up with an idea, people are like, why the hell would anybody want that? But then think back to all the other things that have been made, and people, and at some point somebody was like, that's a stupid idea. But they went ahead with it anyway, and they became a zillionaire.
Can we just talk about, Squatty Potty?
Right.
I have 2 in my house. Thank you very much.
I do too.
Yeah, I have one too.
I do too. And it is, I can't tell that it makes any difference for me.
I can.
Okay.
While we're on the topic, if you don't have a bidet in your house, seriously, just go get one. It's life-changing.
I have one that I haven't installed.
Install it now. It's genuinely
Does your bidet installation have to be different if you use a Squatty Potty?
No.
Why?
Because
I don't know.
It's just a little stool that
You cannot tell me the angles aren't just slightly different down there when you squat.
Actually, I think it would probably help.
Your feet are attached to the Squatty Potty, so if you need it off.
I think what he's saying is that is the angle. Do you need to adjust the angle of the stream of water depending on where
you can adjust the angle.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Well, it depends. Mine you can't, but in some models you can.
So you also have. So I have had a bidet before, and I can tell you that the spray can be very intense if you're not careful.
It can, yeah. That is a good advice for new bidet owners.
Don't give yourself a water enema.
Yeah. Well, because here's the thing. On mine, one of my bidets has a.
This is awesome.
Yeah. Sorry for any sensitive viewers, but then again, we did talk about finger degloving for like 10 minutes, so I don't know where this is going. But for new bidet owners, the first time you use it, because mine has a little dial, and it goes from a small dot to a big dot. And the first time I went,
and that means basically
small tickle almost, of being power washed by a fire hydrant.
I made the mistake of going about to the middle, which I thought was going to be fair, and then that was painful.
Yes. Yes,
Don't do that.
You get a little surprise.
Just go very slowly.
Somebody in the other room might have heard a little eep.
My cat was very confused that day about what the heck the human is doing.
I'm going to try this though.
Okay.
Not the bidet. I'm going to try.
Is that going to be another one of our experience things that we get to do on the show? Is bidet ourselves?
Hey, I'm not ruling it out.
Bidet angles with and without the Squatty Potty.
I'm going to try to come up with.
That sounds like a really good. That's going to be my side project. That's what
I call dibs on publishing that paper.
Okay, you can be a co-author. It's fine. But
I have tried to come up with some products that I think are somewhat along these lines. Products that people shouldn't want but will want.
Okay.
Lip balms.
Those exist.
Handcrafted in the world's finest morgues.
Ooh.
Oh.
And the reason I think this would be good is morticians, embalmers want to make people look very lifelike, and you want your lips to be lifelike, right?
When you say artisanal, is that artisan? Because only thing artisan means to me is expensive.
Well, okay.
Well, yeah. I want to sell some fancy mortician made.
Well, I was going to ask you something, because I actually, while we were talking, looked up the farm brewed beer thing.
Did you find something?
I did. I found out that a lot of breweries are actually moving to farms because they can grow their own hops and grain. And then it's essentially like a farm to table type thing, except at the brewery. So, now obviously that doesn't mean that they brew the beer in a farmhouse just on the floor.
They might.
I don't know, but that's supposedly the appeal. So I think with these products, if you're going to sell something like artisanal lip balm made in the world's finest morgues, what is it about the morgue that is improving it? Because the thing about the farm brewed beer is that, we're sourcing everything right from our farm here. We're growing our own stuff.
Okay, all right.
I have an idea. It's the fact that it's made to make dead lips look alive.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's what Dave was getting at.
I like that.
In fact, that is the slogan of this.
Oh, Lord.
Make your dead lips look alive.
The right, I'm not getting the right word, genres or subcultures would be really into this.
Okay, yeah. Goths.
Yeah.
Hi. Look over there.
We have some special guests in the studio, everybody.
It's Claire, the long lost Claire Castaneda.
Can we interest you in any lip balm that came off of a dead person?
It was off of a dead person.
It's artisanal.
It was made in the morgue.
Yeah.
Where did the lip balm come from?
Well,
who is the dead person?
It's made by morticians. That's all
I love morticians. If anyone gets the chance to work with the hospital morticians,
so if
please
a mortician created artisanal lip balm and the tagline was something about
bring your dead lips back to life.
Oh God. They're under a lot of. They have experiences that make them a little different, but they are lovely people. They really are.
I'm sure they are. All right, let's try another product. Are we ready?
Do we officially have live studio audience now too?
Woo! Woo!
Oh, me? Oh, yeah, I'll be in studio audience.
You listen anyway.
It's the voice of our writing and humanities.
I'm ready
director,
for product number 2.
Product number 2, super moist and delicious bundt cakes made fresh in the U.S. every day on Alaskan oil rig.
That's kind of long.
So everything there was like something that's already been done before, and then you just like on an oil rig.
Beer has already been done before, like.
So specifically on Alaskan oil rigs, not like oil rigs in international waters.
Well, I'm going for the made in the USA.
Yeah. But that's what I was going to be like. Depending on which oil rig you pick, you could be in some seedy territory with that whole made in America thing.
No,
maybe they're drilling for canola oil.
It's all bullshit.
Is it
anyway.
moisture from petroleum or?
Yeah, I mean it adds. Yeah, it adds a little moistness.
That's sweet crude oil.
Mm-hmm.
Where
so
would it
good
have
you could
to be?
Smear it on a.
Where would it be
Alaskan
stationed to get
wildlife?
whale blubber incorporated?
Hey.
Oh.
It's also a whaling rig.
I don't think that's a thing,
exists.
but okay.
You can make it.
All right, here's another one.
For your bundt cake business, you can make a whaling rig.
Here's another one. Bath bars for super soft skin with an invigorating aroma inspired by gastroenterology.
Bath bombs?
But bath bombs that smell like C. diff.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Did you say bath bombs or bath bars?
You said bars.
I said bars, but it could be bombs, bath bombs.
Bath products.
Bath products.
Everyone's allowed to make anything in a capitalist society.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Yeah. So, how about this? Rich dark chocolate truffles infused with the intoxicating flavors of European wastewater treatment facilities.
See, Dave, I feel like you're just going farther and farther off the rails. Like,
Yeah,
that's
why not,
the point, though.
But why not like exfoliative hot sauce?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and if I may, also for the
it's exfoliating certain cells in your digestive tract already.
Like
so.
honestly,
I mean, it's a thought.
This has been the entire podcast.
Can we go back to the GI?
Yeah.
Bathing. So okay, hear me out.
Please do.
Soap all smells the same. It's just like antimicrobial hand soap, hand sanitizer, those kind of scents. But then like the color and the makeup of the bar is inspired by different things they've encountered either coming out of the GI tract or inside the GI tract. The bar
Isn't it pretty much all like some beige to black color, really?
Well,
raised to brown?
Well, sure.
And the bar is a suppository.
We're also we're also talking about like it could be fecal matter, so that comes in tons of different colors.
Yeah,
you could have like what looks like corn inside of it.
I was gonna say, and like different pathologies are gonna come up.
Kate is dumb.
For our listeners, Kate, our live studio audience, has just closed her office door.
We don't have a live studio.
I'm trying to
audience.
fine tune and make these marketable for you, Dave.
All right, fair enough.
Well, no, I can actually see that where it's like, because people like the like weird, gross things. So instead of like smelling like GI, make it look like GI.
Okay.
Yeah, we can workshop this.
Make it look like poop. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, like I could
What could
definitely
be what? What was that,
novelty.
Emma?
People who have scat
What was the
fetishes.
draw in that?
I don't know. People like gross things. I don't know. I wouldn't buy it.
I think those people are mostly between the ages of like 3 and 10.
So market it for them. Make it smell like cotton
OnlyFans is
candy.
getting rid of its most important content in
That's
October.
true,
So
yeah. We need to talk about
scat content is going to be an opening
High
market
demand.
in October.
I'm glad that someone caught me
When
saying
you give
that.
people get well cards after certain medical procedures, you just have different like specialty themed soaps, but it's supposed to be like very clean soap.
How about get well cards from your enemies?
Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
I don't know. I just thought
For or from?
From.
But
with that
service that connects your enemies to you and makes them write a get well card to you.
I love it.
Because if they don't get well, they can't continue being your adversary. Like
It sounds like something on like a
Peacemaking.
Disney plot where it's like, I must continue fighting you, but in the most friendly and like nice way possible.
I'm sorry. Did you mean
Tom and Jerry.
Did you mean Megamind?
I love Megamind.
All right, I got one more. How about a textbook entitled Principles of Virology by Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Ew. No, don't ever make anything that will make her any money.
Oh my god!
All right.
All money goes to the Stop Marjorie Taylor Greene Fund.
Oh my god, yes.
To get her not reelected. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's all I got. I want to thank you for helping me.
I hope
sort of toss around some new ideas that.
I hope this was at least a little helpful.
You know what? I'm going to be generous to our listeners. If you've made it this far into into whatever this show is,
they will give you a social security.
Go ahead and
number.
take these. go ahead and take these ideas and make them your own. Just let me know. Just let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me to the shit show. I have to run. I have to run back. To palliative service.
Go for it.
Thank you for joining us. That's our show. Rick, Emma, Nicole, Miranda. Thanks for being on the show with me today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would say you're welcome, but I don't think we've done you any favors today.
And what kind of sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia would I be if I didn't thank you, Shortcoats, for making us a part of your week?
How long did it take you to learn how to pronounce that?
Hey, I may not be able to pronounce anyone's name properly, but I can do a good sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. You guys know what that is?
I do, actually.
Okay.
I think I've heard this.
I'm going to leave it as an exercise.
I can piece it together.
I'm gonna leave it as an exercise for our listeners too.
Yeah.
To
I mean, it's
up.
just find the sphenopalatine ganglia and it's got neuralgia.
And there you go.
Like, go for it.
If you're new here and you like what you heard today, follow the show wherever fine podcasts are available. If our editors are AJ Chowdhury and Eric Bozard, our show is made possible by a generous donation by Carver College of Medicine, student government, and ongoing support from the Writing and Humanities program. Our music is by Dr. Vox and Catmosphere. I'm Dave Etler saying, I'm sorry. Talk to you in 1 week. Hi, Shortcoats. Look, life in medical education, life in America, life in the world is often difficult. And I often wish I could help. All I have is this podcast, but in my wildest dreams, you have the support you need to lead a life of your choosing. You deserve to be happy, healthy, and successful in whatever ways you define those words. So if you need support because you've experienced racism, discrimination, harassment, mental health crises, I want you to be able to get the help that you need. And so I'm going to put some links in the show notes to some resources that you can use. But the bottom line is that for what it's worth, I see you. I know you're out there. I wish I could do more. Maybe I can in ways that I don't understand yet or know about. But I see you, and I'm glad you're here, and other people are too.